All right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Let me get this tweeted out for everybody here so we can get started. 1 second. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let's see. Do I have any emails from Shirley tonight? I do not. No fresh charts from Shirley tonight. So, cool. Well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today. Well, if we get some later, maybe we can pop them in there. So, hope everybody had a great trading day today. Today, we're going to continue our conversation on day trading Tesla's epic move with relative strength. Okay. So good stuff so far. Yesterday we talked about Tesla. We talked about getting over key levels, like really important indicators. So today is actually kind of a combination. There's a couple things that Tesla did today that are relevant to both yesterday and today's conversation. Before we get started, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. Well, before we get started, let's take a look and see where we left off in the market. So SPX finished with we was starting the week with an inside week. So we gapped down a little bit and it looked like it was getting a little bit, bearish with Apple saying that they're having some coronavirus issues. And I mean, that is pretty bearish. It shows like the overall issues with the supply chain, but the market really doesn't care. I mean, this is just forever bullish, right? Until who knows what's going to happen to make this thing eventually go down. But it is what it is. So here we are. So lower shadow today so far on the weekly chart. Today's day was actually pretty interesting. We talked about Friday. It's just funny. We talked about Friday. Inside day was tough to go either way, right? It was kind of 50-50, right? Because we finished with an inside day and we were below the micro trend line, right? So a very good possibility was gapping down below it and pushing down below, possibly testing some gaps. But all we did today is just hold some key levels right here. And we actually came back within the inside day range. And you guys know what that means. That means it probably wants to test the other side of the inside day. And if the futures are really strong, we may actually gap up above it. And who knows? We might even gap and go, push above the all-time high, shift this trend line over, and then we're good to go. Right, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, so that's SPX. Let's take a look at the price action here intraday. See, it was actually a little bit tricky today. So today was not easy, right? So we gapped down today, right, and then we have a bullish candle right here. So that type of candle, we didn't finish at the highs of the candle. It was more of a spinning top, but that type of candle there makes you think like, hey, we're going to fade this gap. Right, so we had a little bit of work to do there. Couldn't quite get there. Gave this hanging mirror right there, and then they just dropped it. I mean, just pulled the rug out right from underneath the tail fail right there to the downside. 15-hour blow, real fast move. 15-minute candle wipes out the entire first 45 minutes of gains. Right, then it pauses a little bit, right, because nothing goes straight down. Right, pauses a little bit, gives you a bear flag, and then it flushes again a little bit more. So, and then it was finally done. Right, worked its way back up, held the 15-hour buy, then it gave you a bull flag in the upside. So what this did was form essentially a inverse head and shoulders pattern. Right, so we had this. There's your head, right, there's your shoulders, and right at the 15-hour blow, right? So once we got through that, right, we had this nice move up, right, to get to the 15-hour high, and then, of course, we're getting follow through this evening with futures. Futures are up about 9 points, 9.25 points already. So we talked about that at the close when we go live at the close. I pretty much said we'd probably gap up tomorrow, but we'll see where we are. I can't really make any predictions right now. So let's take a look again. These are the levels that we use with our group. So just to kind of share those with you here, these are the levels that we provide to our members before each market open, so that so we can navigate, right? So you can see how these levels were tested, right? They were tested really nicely, right? We held this S3 level as support, right? That was the lowest level of support right there. Got back above it, right? Worked up to these levels right here, and then finished the day. So pretty cool stuff. Again, there's your inverse head and shoulders right there. It looks even stronger on this 5-minute chart. So cool. So today we are going to continue our discussion on day trading Tesla's epic move. So we're gonna talk about Tesla a little bit more here. So let's pull that up here and see what we talk about. So today we're gonna be talking about relative strength. So as part of the move, right? Yesterday we talked about Tesla and a couple of the key levels that it got above that were really important, right? Especially on the weekly chart. Right, we talked about this major level right here, right, to show the change in composure. It got through its all-time highs with a strong weekly candle, right, and then just basically launched after that, right. And so this is one of those key areas right there. So the daily chart, we talked about the moving average, we talked about the 50 moving average. We had the golden cross right here. This is the area right here where we closed strongly, right, above that major level right there, the prior highs, and we worked our way up here. So today we're going to talk about relative strength. So one of the very, very interesting things right in the market is Sorry, guys. Meant to pull that over. Sorry. Okay, so one of the sorry guys, sorry. So yeah, so weekly chart was real quick review. What I was just saying. So this is your major level that we talked about yesterday, right? We got over the all-time highs. We closed strongly above it, right, on the weekly chart, right, with good increasing volume, and we got a nice launch off of that on the weekly, right? We can see on the daily, right? That we closed over a lot of key moving averages. We closed at the 200. We had a gold cross right here on the 50 200 MA, right? So that started to show that change in composure and that move up in Tesla, right? So the question is, right? The real kind of idea is, okay, well, how do we know it's going to go to 1,000? Well, we really don't. But we do know that Tesla is crazy, right? It just is, right? So one of the things that's interesting is that this day here on the 31st, right, was a generally a bullish day for Tesla. Now it doesn't look that bullish. It had decreased volume, but look at that. It finished green on a day. If we go to the SPX, or if we go to the Nasdaq or the SPX, yeah, I got to fix, guys. Sorry about that. So anyway, if you go to the SPX, right, on that day, on the 31st, where were we? So look at the 31st. This was one of the most bearish days in the market ever, right? That we've seen, right, in a long time. Right? We had this Friday was really bearish, and then this Friday was horrible. Look how red that day was, right? It took everything down that day. Look at the Qs, the Nasdaq, right? So let's look at Tesla, where Tesla is hanging out. So Tesla's hanging out this guy on this very red bearish day, right? So what did Tesla do that day? Let's go back to it now. If you remember that huge red candle, that was a rough day in the market, right? It was a really big pullback. And what did Tesla do that day, right? It finished nice and green, right? It even almost closed above the prior day's highs, right? So it just missed it by like 30 cents. It didn't close quite above it, but that was general relative strength. That is one of the important clues to why Tesla made this big move the next day. There was only one other stock, really. I mean, I'm sure there's a couple others, but there's only one other stock that actually closed with relative strength that day. It was Zoom, if you guys remember that one. So Zoom, the exact same day. Now this one actually closed more bullishly than Tesla did, right? So look at that. It closed with increased volume, and it closed over a major level right here. So Tesla was actually Zoom was actually kind of setting up a little bit better. It was not quite Tesla, but look what happened the next day. Very similar, a big move up on that Monday when the market was recovering, right? So it got a little bit of extra energy behind it when the market decided to gap up the next day, right? So that was that move. There was that gap up the next day. So let's take a look and see what Tesla did, right? So Tesla gave you a nice gap and go that day, right? Because we had a bullish close, right? Relative strength, and closed above it. But look how much it gapped up, okay? So it gapped up huge. Why? Well, that gap doesn't just gap up randomly, right? There's a lot of data, there's a lot of information that goes in there pre-market, right? So that was on the on February 3rd. So let's go with the 15-minute chart here and just look at that real quick with the pre-market data and go back. Let's see, that was on the 3rd. So let's go back, 15 days. Let's go 20 days, and just go back to the 2nd and look what happened, right? So this is another clue, right? Here's the 31st, and that's another clue of relative strength. Okay, so not only the candle itself, it was strong relative to the market at the close and had some good volume into the end, but look what happened the next day. Now it actually pulled back, right? The rest of it actually pulled back a lot. I think it pulled back like 20 points. I mean, this is no, this is not for the faint of heart, right? This is a crazy stock to trade, right? I'm not saying this is all completely sensible, right? But what I am saying here is that the next day showed the real relative strength right here. So the rest of the market was gapping up, and Tesla was on a tear, right? I mean, it was just ripping, right? I mean, we're talking 650 pre-market, it got all the way up to 670. Now I hadn't done that, right? That type of gap in a very long time, right? So, so we're talking over 25 points pre-market. So that shows relative strength into the open. And then what we do is we put a level, right? We call it the pre-market box in our group. We put a level over that pre-market high right there. So if we can close bullishly above that on a shorter term time frame, right? So we go to the 1-minute chart, get a nice candle over it, whatever the case is. If we show momentum and so some strength over there, right? Then this thing keeps going. Right, so that was really the key move of that day, right? So it closed strongly, relative strength here, and then relative strength pre-market too, and huge strength pre-market. So I got a big move right there and give a big move up intraday, and then honestly, this is a great candle to take profit on that, and some of our group did, right? So that was a nice one right there for taking profit, and so it did it again the next day, right? Then this is just shows what kind of strength it has, right? So I mean, it had like a huge. I think this time it was 785. This is all pre-market to 909. right? We're talking over 100 points pre-market, right? And again, the same technique applied here, right? You have your pre-market box right here. We got a nice momentum through that level right there, and this is no joke, right? This is 31-point move over those levels, right? And then of course it worked its way up into the rest of the day, right? So that is one of the key considerations with Tesla. Of why it was so strong. Now today, generally we had a pretty decent day today in the market, right? We held the lows and all that stuff, and gave a push down. Now today, Tesla kind of has some relative strength as well, and also some levels. So it's a combination of two of the things that we were talking about. So one of the key levels right here was your breakdown level right here. Okay, so that was like kind of your opening level. So we gapped above that today, and then we closed above the high of that day. Right, so the next real kind of target is this guy up here, right? So like where we closed up here, this 880-ish level, and guess where we're at after hours? We're 882. We're right here after hours. So Tesla, is doing some wild things, right? That most things don't do, but when these things do happen, it's worth paying attention to it, right? So we did close bullishly of it, right? We gapped above an inside day with a target in mind here, with better volume today than we talked about back here, right? So now what we're seeing after hours today is, let's go back to a normal time frame here, it's a 5-day, 5-minute. Now look what's happening after hours today, right? Another ridiculous move by Tesla after hours. So I just think it's really appropriate for this conversation that this is happening here, right? So we're seeing this nice move right here. So let's see. Hopefully, we do have some members that are long this. So hopefully it does continue to hold this closing gap level right here, and hopefully we see it, work its way up into the 900s. Again, early tomorrow morning would be great. So that's a nice job there on Tesla. Anyway, so hopefully that kind of covers it for you guys for the relative strength topic. And at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can and try to wrap up as soon as possible so we can all get a great night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. And if you guys can believe it, tomorrow is actually Wednesday because of the short week this week, so because of President's Day on Monday. So anyway, good stuff. So good. So at this point, Dimitri, what's going on? Good to see you. Michael, what's happening? Let me just double check, see if Shirley sent anything through. I don't see anything from Shirley. So, Michael, what's going on? Yeah, beautiful trading day. Great stuff. The scan was scandalous today. So, yeah, everything's good. So, let's take a look. So, Zoom. Let's take a look. So, we got Zoom. Zoom, again, Zoom, I tell you, trades fractal to Tesla. We looked at what it did here, that relative strength there, right there, and it had a strong day today as well. I mean, I don't know what it is with Tesla and Zoom. Inside day, both gapped up. Now, Zoom had a little bit of a stronger day. We don't need that prior 60 anchor. That was a key level previously, right? And we closed nicely above these levels right here. Look what Zoom's doing after hours. Just like Tesla. These things are tied to the same algo, right? I'm convinced. So, but anyway, Zoom is up after hours today. It was on our bullish list at the close, so looking good so far, looking good into tomorrow. So hopefully, anybody who's swinging that gets a nice gap up tomorrow. MDB, yeah, MDB had some relative strength today as well. So closed above a lot of key levels. We had actually a lot of bullish closes today. So I like seeing a lot of bullish closes like this. It kind of helps solidify, that kind of concept of strength in the market. The more they're closing bullishly, the higher probability that they're not just going to gap everything down the next day. So we're seeing a nice big cup right here on MDB. We're closing above those key levels. I think it looks really bullish going into tomorrow as well. Beyond, let's take a look. So Beyond, trying today, yeah, getting pretty decent right here. Couldn't quite close above that high, this pivot level right here. So hopefully close above that, the next day or so, and then give another push. But it's showing some intraday strength. MGI, MoneyGram. So MoneyGram, let's take a look here. So we've got these lows here. That looks like mostly the lows there. Well, anyway, let's just say geometrical right here. We closed over these pivots here today, so that's looking pretty good. And good volume today. Closed over the 2-day moving average. We got a couple levels right here that we got to deal with, and we got earnings coming up. So just be careful with this one, but it is looking generally pretty bullish. FCell. Okay, so this looks like a reverse cup and handle. But yeah, so it did close over a lot of these levels right here. Just watch out for these guys. Okay, just watch out for those guys right there. So a little bit of selling pressure previously there. Payc. Paycom, yeah, nice close above these highs right here. It looks like we were getting really close. We didn't fill the gap today, 318.72. 20 cents away from filling the gap up here. Just watch out. Could be some gap resistance. Not as much volume today as I would like to have seen on Paycom, but still pretty decent as how it's working its way up here. And then IIPR. This is a great idea from yesterday. This is a good one. So you got a nice gap up today, and then ended up working its way up even higher too. So good job on that one. Good stuff. Yeah, my pleasure. Matthew, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in, man. Anil, what's going on? Good. Hope you're doing well. Heather, good evening. Thanks for tuning in. Claudia, what's up? Yeah, so Tesla, I like your request, Tesla. Yeah, we're definitely talking about Tesla. So Tesla's up, a good 30 points almost after hours today. Again, like we said, relative strength. It closed over two major levels today off of a gap, right, with good volume. So again, typically we'd like to see if it defends that gap, but with Tesla, you can kind of skip a day, right? So let's see where it goes. Right now it's kind of testing those closing gaps from here, and then from there, who knows? Maybe we can continue to work its way up. Morgan Stanley put a number on it at 1,200 as potential. Potential move today. So that maybe it's going to work its way there. We'll see. SPCE, yes, incredible stuff, guys. Like this thing was pretty epic too, right? So I mean, this is also doing exhibiting a lot of the same concepts that Tesla had, right? So it was up really nicely pre-market this morning. Got some nice volume over these levels, right? Pushed nicely here, right? And we could see. Right, we got a nice gap and go today, right? So we gapped above it and pushed. So that was very, very nice on SPC, and we're starting to see that a lot. And there's really no reason. Right? So this week we're going to talk about some of the news on Tesla, right? Of why it was going. Right? That's kind of one of the key factors of the whole thing. This thing is just up for no reason. I mean, somebody said something like, I guess they did their job, like they delivered a spaceship, but I mean, that's what they do, right? So it's anyway. But Morgan Stanley even came in today and said we think it needs a breather. So I don't know. We'll see how that holds up. But it did take a breather today. Big upper shadow today. So that's a little bit of a scary candle right there off of SPCE. And then Shack. Yeah, so Shake Shack had a little shake up today. It was looking really strong at one point today. It got a big move intraday. Right, so it had a nice move up, and then it just kind of gave up on it a little bit. But really was hoping it did push above these levels, but it couldn't close above those levels. Right, it's not about what you do; it's how you close. Right, and so we really wanted to close above those. Well, it didn't quite do it today, so let's see. Maybe in the next couple of days it can. Maybe give a little earnings run. So it looked like they're trying to push it. So we'll keep an eye on it. Paul, what's going on? What up? So yeah, so ESF is bound to 2.236. I know this market is crazy. It's in the epic squeeze mode. Where are we at right now? We're probably up like 12 points, 8 points. So it's a bit, yeah. I mean, this market is just amazing. It really is. It just is nonstop. It's like, I mean, I guess it's what the stock market was always supposed to be, right? Just keep going up, right? But anyway, so right now it's hanging in there. I mean, there's no news that's brought it down right yet. China trade talk, impeachment talk, coronavirus, Apple failing, right? So it's still working its way up, and it's still working its way up this channel right here. So we'll see if that continues, right? So, but in the meantime, bullish still proven otherwise, right? So we'll keep that up. Good stuff, Marty. What's going on? Good to see you, Jimmy. What's happening? Oh yeah, you got Zoom from this morning. Great job. Yeah, awesome. And looking good. Oh, it's looking incredible after hours. Isn't that neat how Zoom and Tesla are almost controlled by like the same algo? I mean, they're almost identical on their charts. It's crazy. Yeah, sorry guys about the chart earlier. Sorry about that. Yeah. Sorry, I get all excited and I forget to click the button over or just get into it. But anyway, Jay, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Michael, yeah, Tesla price action, baby. Jay, yeah, what's up? So let's take a look. So Walmart, let's take a look. WMT. So Walmart was crazy. So Walmart this morning was a big down move pre-market, right? After it came, today was earnings for Walmart, right? So big down move pre-market, blah, 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 numbers aren't good, blah, blah, blah. And then they come with their conference call and they're like, everything's good. Okay, so so it works its way back up. I think they said something about like, oh yeah, China's not affecting our operations, et cetera, et cetera, And anyway, it worked its way up, but ended up holding, basically staying within the 15 warp range today. You did get an inside 15 up, so on the daily chart, it's getting a little bit better. Nothing amazing. I would love to have seen it gap over this 122 area to try to work its way up to 125. Now it's just slowly, just basically looks like a normal chart right now. It basically held the 50-day moving average, so it's good that it got out of this mess. But now it's got these levels it's got to deal with. So we might see like a little cup and handle type deal and then work its way up. So that's what we're seeing on Walmart right now. But we'll see. Maybe it'll get some strength in it tomorrow. Okay. Let's see. So BMY. Okay, so BMY. Interesting, right? So a little bit of a lower shadow right here. It is holding some key levels. So let's see if that gets, it's in a little congestion right here. So maybe close above those levels and try to work its way. I've got some decent volume in it today. MRK. Inside day up and then back in the range. So at this point here, it's still looking pretty bearish, and it's almost looking like a bear flag that it's working on right now, or at least the start of it. So keep an eye on that. GDX. GDX was an incredible candle today, but GDX is tricky, right? It just doesn't trade quite the standard way that everything else does. I mean, you look back here, like big Barbosa candle, it's like, oh, this is really super bullish, and then down the next day, right? Oh, this is really bullish, down, right? Oh, this is really bullish, gap down, right? So it's really tricky. It's not as fluid as everything else because it does react to gold futures, and gold futures is going to react to the S&P futures. So it is interesting that with the general relative strength in the market towards the end of the day on SPX, that it did close bullishly. We'll see. It didn't quite close above these levels right here, so let's see if it can get a push above that. It did have some good volume today, so that was good. And some of the gold stuff did trade well intraday. GLUU, Glue Mobile, yeah, looking interesting right here. A little bit of pennant in the works, so let's see if that gets any follow through. Good stuff. Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. Cool. What's going on? Thanks for tuning in, Jay. Yeah, I know. Tesla is just unbelievable. Jimmy, what's going on? You will be able to have a conference call in your Tesla. I know. I can't wait. With Zoom. Exactly. I know. It'd be so cool. Do all the charts over there. Robert, what's going on? UNH. Yeah, so UNH had some nice intraday price action today. Give me 1 second. Let me look at one thing here today. Yeah. So UNH had some pretty good price action today as well. Gave a nice move. Finished with an inside day. So let's see. So right now it's kind of looking, possible little bull flag type in the works right here, inside day. So let's see if we can take that inside day up. We had a nice candle right here, so we're kind of defending that right now. So let's see if we can get it. We can close above these levels and then work our way back up on UNH. Epic move on UNH recently. Good, cool one. Yeah, let's take a look. Team, TEAM. Okay, so Team, very similar, kind of the opposite of the market today. So inside day tried to work its way up and came back inside the range. So a little bit tricky right there. It's just, this is one of those ones that may just kind of slowly drift up over time. And Vive had an incredible close today. Very, very nice. I love, actually, Friday's close is pretty nice too. I'm sorry. Yeah, today was Tuesday. Yeah, Friday's close is pretty nice too. So a close above here, right? Very good. Increased volume both days. Next target levels right here are your 165 level, and then up here this 168 level. So, I mean, Vive is looking pretty good. Definitely on our radar at the close today. Robert, yeah, my pleasure. Cloud Guy, what's going on? Good evening. Dimitri, yeah, let's take a look. Netflix. So Netflix, guys, this is what we talked about yesterday, right? So, and I think we talked about it in a couple of, like the videos today too. But check this out. So we closed, well, we haven't closed the week yet, right? We still have 3 more trading days left. But we closed, right now we've pushed above some major resistance levels here, right? Major prior resistance levels here on the weekly chart. This is huge, right? So starting to curl up on the 30 MA, right? Let's see how we close this. It would be very, very important to see how we close this week. I want to see how we close on Friday. If we close bullishly on Friday with Netflix, right, with a strong weekly candle, this thing could work its way up to all-time highs over the next, couple months, right? So, but probably sooner than that, the way all these FANG stuff go. So anyway, it looks like a big cup right here that we closed above today as well with good volume. So I really like Netflix candle today. I wanted it to get a little bit more upside today, but it did have a big move, right? Moved over 10 points today. So pretty much in general, it was a good day for Netflix. So yeah, so good. And Jay, good. Made some nice money off of space today. That's good. Tracy, good evening. AMD, let's take a look. Yeah, so AMD was awesome. So it hit our scans this morning. Give a really nice push. The upper shadow is the upper shadow. I don't like trading. I don't like going long with an upper shadow like that to start a position with it. Generally it is a belt hold bar, so it should overall be reasonable. Again, tech was really strong today. What I liked about AMD today was that a strong move through all its pre-market levels and then also the aftermarket levels right here. So it reclaimed, it filled the gap really quickly this morning, right, for a nice momentum move, and then it gave you this double inside 15, which was really just your move today, right? And then here's your trend line up. We had confirmation. Here's your little peak below here. Here's your confirmation down below here. So push below there, gave you that first move down. So nice little candle to the downside, and then we just kind of chopped in that range for the rest of the day. So yeah, so AMD's looking generally strong overall, right? So we'll see how it continues to hold. Hopefully get some upgrades and all that stuff. So AMVids, what's going on? ENPH. So let's see. Yeah, whoa. So I guess they had pretty good earnings, so that's good. Let's add that to the 15 order list for tomorrow. Yeah, it's on there, so good. Yeah, so ENPH, nice job. Let's see. So it's up at 45. Let's see how that looks here. Yeah, so ENPH, guys, keep this on your gap and go radar for tomorrow. Gapping over these highs right here. This thing has been just an incredible mover since since back in December, since the winter, right? I guess we're technically still there, but anyway, so just really really bullish stuff right there, and up to 4. So look for a potential gap and go on ENPH tomorrow. So that looks good, and then also GRPN Groupon. This thing got crushed after hours. Let's take a look here. Look at that. Anyway, so that went all over $3 out of like $2. Just got decimated here after hours. I guess they're like canceling one of their things. But anyway, DDOG. Okay, yeah, so DDOG, let's take a look at Datadog's doing. So inside day today, okay, putting a little bit of upper shadows right here. It kind of looks like it's sort of working on a potential, head and shoulders formation. Had earnings result. See if it gives another move up. See if it fails to take out those highs. If it does, we might see it move back to the cloud. If it doesn't, then we'll look to see, see if it gets bullish over that and kind of work its way up from there. Burke, what's going on? What's the green red indicator on the chart? Oh, on the 15-minute chart here. This guy. These, so that's your orb, right? So if you follow me on Twitter, I talk about the 15 orb all the time, right? This is your opening range bar, right? This shows you, the high and the low of that first 15-minute candle, right? And it becomes a key level throughout the whole day, right? It's kind of like your line in the sand for the bears, right? So if they can't hold it, right, you get that nice breakout move, right? If you can't hold it the other way, here's that 15 orb right here from the other day. If you can't move that, you get a breakdown move, right? So it gives you a nice trading consistency. It works really great with gaps, right? Especially on earnings, things like that. So it's one of the things we'll do. But it turns out it's a key level that we use intraday all the time anyway. It's very important. So so that's one of the orb levels right there that we use for the day. Michael, what's going on? Yeah, Roku, one last one. Yeah, so Roku, let's take a look here. So Roku had a really rough Friday, rough earnings, right? So they gapped up on good earnings, and then they gave it all up, right? So it's just all done off of that. So today, we talked about earlier, I drew a chart of this here. We got a trend line down. So we came all the way down to the trend line before, right? And bounced off it on Friday. And we got a nice gap. So anybody who's tried to grab that bounce on Friday got a nice little follow through this morning, right? And then it came back down, right, and tested really quickly. And so it held that today. Got a little bit of a bounce off of that, but that's a real key level right here. If we get under there, then we got to watch out. We got the 200-day moving average right here. It's kind of tight in here, right? We need this thing to get out of here somehow, but it's going to be tough. It's got some work to do. This is probably one of those ones that's just going to continue being a sloppy mess for like a couple more months, and then maybe it'll work its way back up. We'll continue to monitor it because it's Roku. So, MOC 420, what's going on? Hey there, what's going on? Yeah, a little CVS. Yeah, so CVS is looking pretty good today. Nice reversal opportunity today from yesterday's or from Friday's little hammer right there from the lows, right? So we got a nice little move on CVS. Again, intraday gave a nice move, right? Nice little pullback to the 15 orb below, and then worked its way back up to the 15 orb high. So definitely good potential for it. So it is still below the 50-day moving average. So let's see if we can try to work its way up there. Inside day today, so a breakout over today's highs tomorrow could try to give us a push to it. So that is the kind of the goal right there. So good stuff, guys. Great charts tonight, and awesome conversation on Tesla. So really excited about seeing how Tesla opens tomorrow, and what a great one to talk about this week, as it continues to do crazy price action for us, and gives us something really fun to talk about. Plus, we have some members that are long in Tesla too, so it's a great job for that. Hopefully it gaps up 100 points tomorrow, so that would be great. So, but anyway, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you're new here, definitely click subscribe on YouTube. We do this every market night. We go over technical ideas, chart requests, and talk about questions and things like that. And Heather, yeah, I know, can't wait to see Tesla tomorrow. It's gonna be awesome. And so definitely click subscribe on YouTube. Also click the like button if you can. We love that. And then check out the links in the description too. So if you're here on YouTube, right, you can check out our Twitter links and our website and everything like that. So appreciate again everybody for tuning in, and I hope everybody has a great rest of your evening. And remember your risk first, and stay safe so you can stay in the game. I'll talk to you guys soon. And thank you everybody again for your support.